Morning. You reach out and touch something wet, cold. A sharp smell hits your nose. Your pet just did their business right in the center of your bed. The first thought that comes to most people's minds, revenge. They're getting back at me for something. But here's what throws you off. If your cat did this, it's one reason. If your dog did it, the reason is diametrically opposite. Same action, same puddle on your pillow. But the message your pet is trying to send you, completely different. And over the next 20 minutes, you're going to learn something that will make you rethink every incident, every location, and every reason your pet has done this. Because science has uncovered what you simply didn't know how to decode, let's start with what seems impossible, the fundamental difference. Research in veterinary behavioral medicine shows a clear pattern. Dogs do this out of attachment to you. Cats do this out of alienation from you. Wait a second. You think I'm saying that when your dog poops on your bed, it's because they love you? And when your cat does it the opposite? Almost exactly. And I'm about to explain why your brain should explode from this information. Dogs. The chemistry of fear. When a dog experiences panic from thunderstorms, fireworks, or simply because you left for work, a cascade of neurochemical reactions occurs in their brain, which scientists have tracked using functional magnetic resonance imaging. First, the amygdala activates, the fear center, sirens blaring, red alert. And then, and this is critically important, within a fraction of a second, the olfactory cortex immediately kicks in. The dog doesn't just feel fear. They automatically start searching for your scent. This isn't conscious behavior. It's a neurological reflex, hardwired at the level of neural pathways. Your bed isn't just a place where you sleep. To a dog's nose, which has up to 300 million olfactory receptors compared to your 6 million, your pillow is a three-dimensional chemical map of your DNA. Sweat contains pheromones. Skin cells retain volatile organic compounds. Sebaceous glands secrete unique lipids. Every molecule screams to the dog's brain, "My human is here." And here's what a dog does in the moment when their world is falling apart. They don't just lie on your bed. They ADD their scent to yours, creating what ethologists call a chemical safety anchor. Studies of wolf behavior in natural conditions showed younger individuals urinate within 6 to 10 feet of the alpha male's scent marks, creating a protective zone. This isn't territory marking. It's literally hiding under someone else's scent. Your dog does the same thing. They're not ruining your bed. They're creating a bunker. They're hiding inside your scent because you are the safest thing in their universe. Now listen to what a cat does and why it means something completely different. Cats, territorial loners. Cats are obligate solitaries. This isn't a behavioral characteristic. It's a biological classification. Their ancestors, Felis sylvestris libica, didn't form social groups. They hunted alone, slept alone, reproduced through brief contacts. Research from the University of California, Davis, published in the Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery, the most cited work on feline behavior in 2 decades, established a critical difference in neurobiology. A dog perceives your home as our shared pack territory. In their prefrontal cortex, the same areas activate as during social interaction with other dogs. A cat perceives your home as my territory, where a large hairless servant who opens cans lives. In their brain, completely different zones are active, those responsible for spatial orientation and resource protection. When a cat poops on your bed, they're not hiding under your protection. They're declaring your bed as their property through pheromone marking. But wait, dog owners are smiling right now. Aha! Typical selfish cat. Nothing personal. No, because here's what changes everything, the medical twist. In most cases, a cat poops on your bed not because of territory, it's pain. A team from Cornell University, the world's leading center for feline studies, tracked cats with these issues for years. Each was fully examined. Complete blood count and biochemistry, urinalysis with sediment microscopy, abdominal ultrasound. The research showed 60 to 70% of cats with signs of lower urinary tract disease have a medical cause. This isn't speculation. These are diagnosed pathologies. Most commonly, feline interstitial cystitis, or FIC. Bladder inflammation. Imagine the feeling that you urgently need to use the bathroom. You run, you squat, and hell begins. Sharp, burning, unbearable. Your cat goes to the litter box, tries, feels pain, and their brain, which lacks a developed prefrontal cortex for abstract thinking, registers one thing: litter box equals pain. Now here's the most important part from a neurobiology standpoint. Cats function on associative memory, controlled by the amygdala and hippocampus. They can't think in cause and effect chains like pain comes from inflammation, not from the location. Pain happened in the box the amygdala registers. The box is a source of danger. So the cat searches for an alternative. The softest, safest surface. Something that will quickly absorb urine through material capillarity, so they don't have to stand in it. Something far from the dangerous box. Your pillow, your blanket. They're not taking revenge. They're escaping from associated pain. Dog owners say, well, of course, cats are weak. My dog can handle anything. No, they can't. Because dogs also suffer from cystitis, urolithiasis, infections. But you know what they do differently? They don't avoid the outdoors or their designated spot. They simply don't make it in time because their pain threshold doesn't block the location association. Because dogs have a different pain threshold? No. The threshold is the same. Because their brain is built on trust in you, not in territory. Even during pain, the social drive is stronger than the avoidance instinct. Stress. Cats on the edge. Let's say the vet conducted a full examination. Medically, everything's clean. Lab values are normal. Then what? Then we're talking about stress. And here begins neuroendocrinology that sounds like science fiction. Research shows cats experience stress from changes that humans are physically unable to perceive as threatening. You moved a flower pot 12 inches to the left, bought new curtains of the same color but different texture, came home from work 40 minutes later than usual. Scientists measured cortisol levels in cat saliva before and after such changes. An enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay with high sensitivity was used. Result: significant cortisol elevation that persisted for hours after the change. In dogs with absolutely identical changes, a much smaller spike and faster return to baseline. Cats are exponentially more sensitive to routine disruption at the neurochemical level. Imagine you wake up and your apartment is turned upside down. The couch isn't there. The clock ticks at a different frequency. Your cup emits unfamiliar volatile compounds. For you, minor details that the cerebral cortex will filter as unimportant. For a cat, apocalypse, because their brain doesn't have such a filter. Their world depends on predictability. Food at 7 a.m. Sleep on the windowsill at 2 p.m. You home at 6 p.m. These aren't just habits. These are neurobiological circadian rhythms synchronized with yours. When something breaks, the hypothalamus activates the sympathetic nervous system. Adrenal glands release cortisol and adrenaline. Their body shifts into fight or flight mode. But there's nowhere to flee, no one to fight. So they do the only thing that makes biological sense for a territorial animal. They mark aggressively, intensely, right where your scent is most concentrated. Dog owners are smiling again. Cats are nervous neurotics. My dog is calm. Really? Then explain this to me. Dogs. Separation. Why does your calm dog poop on your bed only when you're not home? Because dogs have a diagnosed clinical condition that's virtually non-existent in cats: separation anxiety. This is an official diagnosis in veterinary psychiatry with specific diagnostic criteria. Research shows dogs with separation anxiety typically leave excrement, specifically on items with the highest concentration of human scent: towels after a shower, robes, pillows, shirts. This isn't random. It's targeted behavior, driven by oxytocin and vasopressin. When you leave, oxytocin levels in the dog's brain drop sharply. Oxytocin is the neuropeptide of attachment. Its drop activates the stress response. Your dog searches for the source of your scent and overlays their scent on top, creating a chemical symbiosis. They're literally mixing you and me at the molecular level. This is the closest a dog can come to physical contact when you're gone. Cat owners are now raising eyebrows. Aha, so dogs are emotionally dependent, unhealthy. Maybe so, but when your cat poops on your clothes, it's also about neurochemistry. Just packaged differently. Clothes, 2 species, 1 goal. Research shows an interesting pattern in cats with documented histories of inappropriate elimination. When cats are offered a choice between identical items that differ only in scent, a significant portion choose items with the owner's scent. But the critical detail: this happens only if the owner has been absent for an extended time. With short absences, the choice is random. This isn't coincidence. This is the time it takes for cortisol to reach critical levels in the absence of a social companion. Your cat isn't ruining your clothes. They're creating a substitute for your presence through chemical association. Their limbic system: human is gone, cortisol rises, need familiar scent. Here's an item with scent. Add my pheromone chemical connection created. Anxiety decreases. This is the closest a cat can come to "I missed you," having only instinctive neurochemistry. Dogs do the same thing, but their oxytocin system is exponentially more active, so attachment is much more intense. And here's where I'll tell you something that might split the audience in half. The conflict: who's better? Dog owners will say, look, dogs poop on the bed because they love you too much. That's sweet. Cat owners respond, cats poop on the bed because they're in pain or stressed, and they trust you enough to show vulnerability. Who's right? Both. And neither. Because here's what comparative neurobiology shows. Dogs evolved to depend on humans. 15,000 years of artificial selection created an animal with genetic mutations on chromosome 6 that increased sociability. Their brain physically changed. Increased number of oxytocin receptors in the ventral tegmental area. Cats evolved to US humans as a stable food source. They came to us themselves 10,000 years ago when we started storing grain and attracted mice. But their genome did not change fundamentally. A 2014 study showed the domestic cat differs from the wild one by only 13 genes related to behavior and learning ability. A cat is still Felis sylvestris, a wild predator who decided to coexist with you on mutually beneficial terms. A dog is Canis lupus familiaris, a wolf, genetically reformatted to biologically need your approval. What's better, dependence or autonomy? Love or respect? This isn't a scientific question, it's an ethical one. But here's what science says clearly and irrefutably. Carpets, a nose trap. When any animal urinates on carpet, once the probability of repetition sharply increases over the following weeks. Why? Because you cannot completely remove the smell without an enzymatic cleaner that breaks down urea and uric acid. Regular detergent, even with disinfectant, masks the smell for you by destroying volatile amines. But uric acid crystallizes in carpet fibers. These crystals aren't water-soluble. They're not destroyed by regular surfactants. A dog has up to 300 million olfactory receptors. A cat, 200 million. A human, only 6 million. Your nose doesn't detect residual uric acid at low concentrations. A dog detects it at concentrations 1,000 times lower. A cat hundreds of times lower. They still smell every molecule crystallized in carpet fibers at depths up to 0.2 inches. Their olfactory bulb says, "Previous marks detected. This is an approved elimination site." You've created a chemical marker that at the olfactory level literally screams, "Bathroom here." Bathroom, thermal control. Why does a cat poop in the sink, in the bathtub, in the shower stall? Research showed cats who choose cold ceramic surfaces for elimination often have elevated body temperature from chronic inflammation, cystitis, arthritis, hyperthyroidism. Inflammation activates prostaglandins. Prostaglandins raise the set point of the hypothalamic thermoregulatory center. The cat seeks coolness to reduce discomfort. Sink equals temperature of 64 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit, plus smooth surface, plus shape, resembles litter box. They're not going crazy. They're using primitive thermotherapy, the only available way to lower local tissue temperature. Dogs do something different in the bathroom. They poop near items with your scent: towels, robes, bath mats. Why the bathroom specifically? Because moisture amplifies pheromone volatility several times. Steam after a shower disperses scent molecules throughout the room, creating the highest concentration in the apartment. For a dog with separation anxiety, the bathroom after your morning shower is a chemical concentrate of your presence. And now, the most important thing today, a clinical protocol that could save your pet's life. If your pet has been perfect for years and suddenly started showing inappropriate elimination, the first thing you do is not punishment, not cleaner, not new litter boxes. You take them to a vet immediately. A 2023 meta-analysis published in Veterinary Record analyzed thousands of cases of sudden, inappropriate elimination in adult animals. The majority of cats and a significant portion of dogs had a diagnosed medical cause. Most common diagnoses, in order of frequency: urinary tract infections as most common cause, urolithiasis, stones, diabetes mellitus, degenerative joint disease, cognitive dysfunction, chronic kidney disease. Your pet isn't disobedient. They're suffering from a pathological process. Imagine interstitial cystitis. Histamine and bradykinin irritate nociceptors in the bladder wall. Every attempt to urinate causes high-intensity burning pain. Now imagine you can't tell anyone with words, can't schedule a doctor's appointment, can't even realize this is pathology, not a normal bodily state. All your limbic system registers. Act of urination equals pain. So you search for an alternative. Softer surface, safer place. Your pet is doing exactly this. And when you yell, they don't understand cause and effect. They're in pain. And now their social companion is also aggressive. Double stress. Action protocol. Here's a clinical protocol you implement immediately. Step 1. Veterinarian. Minimum diagnostic package. Step 2. Cleaning. Enzymatic cleaner based on bacterial proteases and ureases. Not vinegar creates salt deposits. Not baking soda doesn't break down uric acid. Not chlorine-containing agents. They combine with ammonia, forming toxic chloramine. Only enzymatic cleaner that breaks down organics molecularly. Step 3. Litter boxes. Formula N+1, where N equals number of cats. 2 cats equals minimum 3 boxes in different rooms. Daily cleaning with removal of solid fractions and soiled granules. Complete litter replacement weekly with box washing without scented products. Step 4. Stress management. Analysis of changes over the last 14 days. Synthetic pheromones, Feliway for cats, Adaptil for dogs, showed efficacy in clinical studies. Vertical space for cats. Predictable feeding schedule. Step 5. Monitoring, daily recording, time of event, location, preceding activity, accompanying symptoms. Patterns become visible after 7 to 10 days of observations. Here's what I want you to take from this video at a level of understanding that changes behavior. When a cat poops on your bed, they don't hate you. They either have a pain syndrome associated with the litter box, or a stress response to disrupted environmental predictability, or territorial anxiety from external stimuli. When a dog poops on your bed, they're not taking revenge. They're activating an ancient mechanism of scent masking for shelter, hiding in your chemical trail because you are the only stable element in a world that's causing stress. 1. Action. 2. Biologically different species. 2. Completely different neurochemical processes. 2. Cries for help in different languages. The question isn't who's better. The question is whose language you're willing to learn deeply enough to hear the cry for help before it's too late. Because science is absolutely clear on one thing. These animals don't have words. They only have behavior. And this behavior is language. Complex, precise, evolutionarily honed language that we're obligated to decipher. Tomorrow morning, your cat might squat on your pillow again, or your dog will leave a puddle by the door, and now you'll know it's not anger, not revenge, not a spoiled character. It's an SOS, written in pheromones instead of ink. Now you know the alphabet of this language, and you have a choice. You can ignore it, and in a year be sitting at a shelter choosing a new pet because the previous one didn't work out or wasn't trainable. Or you can act, call the vet, order enzymatic cleaner, put out an additional litter box. Buy Feliway. Start an observation journal. If this video changed your understanding, it's not an accident. Science does exactly this, destroys intuitive assumptions and replaces them with verified facts. And here's my challenge to you. Write in the comments now, while it's still fresh. What pet lives with you? Where they demonstrated inappropriate elimination last time, and most importantly, what specific action you'll take within 24 hours after watching this video. Not, I'll think about it, not, someday, a specific action, because knowledge without action is just entertainment. And remember one of the most important points. Whoever your pet is, dog or cat, you bear responsibility for them. You must find an approach to them, and one of the most reliable approaches is to sincerely love them with all your heart. Thank you for being with us until the end. Your pet thanks you even more. See you in the next video.